Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Choujin X Chapter 13. When we last left our heroes, Shiozaki had gone full chaos form. He was a weird baseball monster, and he immediately had shoved Tokio into a hole, leaving Ely to try to have to stop him on her own, which she tried to do. She had some good ideas. They didn't quite work in the follow-through. Thanks to Shiozaki throwing a pipe at her on the roof and causing the entire ceiling to collapse. But then Simon and Momoma showed up. And they seemed to do some damage. Momoma broke his neck, but he was fine because he's a Choujin and they can, I guess, heal from that in the same way I think ghouls could. But Shiozaki brings the entire building down, and that's kind of where we left off. Not quite sure how all this is going to play out. Again, there's lots of questions as to just what exactly Momoma and Simon's reactions are going to be to Shiozaki's turn, and to Ely and Tokio trying to stop him on their own. But we'll see all of that as we come into Chapter 13, Sinker Part 5, Pinch Hitter. And for those of you who aren't caught up in your baseball terminology, a pinch hitter is comes in to replace a not as strong batter, for lack of a better term, like an extra batter who is just a batter, I think. Anyway, we open in flashback land as we see a baseball flying through the sky. Ozma gets a hit, so I guess this is a bit more recent then, because I don't think was Ozma on the baseball team when Shiozaki was. I know we've seen him be on the baseball team recently. I just don't recall if he was on it at the same time as Shiozaki. And we have, that looks like Tokio as on the bench, talking with some guy. Ever heard of the video game Inselect? And Tokio tells him no. It's about bug heroes trying to defeat the beast army. Each bug has different stats. For example, roaches have really high HP. Rhino beetles have the strongest attacks and defense, and each type of bug has unique skills. And when we hear outside that conversation, the crowd going wild, "Run, run, we did it! Another run for the penguins!" I guess that's Tsuruhai's mascot. I'm not sure what the point of the scene is. It's just sort of weirdly, all of a sudden we're having this flashback to Tokio and this guy chatting about a video game. And also, I didn't think Tokio was really involved with the baseball team at all, given that he didn't recognize Shiozaki at all. I don't know. This flashback is really, really weird. I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, we open with Momoma calling out to Kurohara. And we see she is holding up a piece of rubble that would have crushed Tokio. And Tokio looks at her. We see his beast mask is starting to crack. Momoma, and he kind of he trembles and falls over. Oh no, never mind. That's Momoma who's the one trembling there. It's dangerous. Go over there. Okay. And he looks over at the damage. That the building that was just here is rubble now. Did Shiozaki? And he notices with a shock, Shiozaki, I think, lying or sitting back against some rubble. Oh no, it's Simon. Kagamora! Your arm! The bone is... and we see the bones in Simon's arms are kind of sticking out from some injury. And he calls over to Momoma. Momoma, it's Kagamora! He's injured! What? And Simon stops them. Shut up. Let me concentrate. Momoma, I'm going to raise myself. Okay, so he used that terminology, raise. Last chapter. Let me see if I can find the exact moment he used it. In reference to Shiozaki. About having to raise Shiozaki or something. Let's see if I can find it very fast. Yeah, so on page 25, he says, he's chaosified, we need to raise him. And in response to that, Momoma breaks his neck. And here we see Simon slits his neck. So I don't know what's going on there. But he kind of falls over. He cries out. And we see something kind of creeping into the whites of his eyes. I think this is Momoma's line. Everything's all right, Kurohara. And Tokio protests, how is this all right? But we see blades start sprouting from Simon. Almost like a chaosification form, maybe? Shocking Tokio. Whoa. And we see Simon has sort of come back to himself, though. He's not the full, manic energy that Shiozaki has. And Tokio watches. Those sores just came out of him. What happened to his arm? And his arm seems mostly healed, actually, as a result of that. And he jumps off, calling Shiozaki! And I think this is Momoma's line in just shock. Wait, Simon? Seriously? I think it took her a second to, realize what just happened. I don't know. Anyway, I think this is still back with... Oh, no, we're with Shiozaki now, who's escaping from the rubble. And he finds his baseball cap, and he puts it back on. Though it's listed with the team name Hawks, so I'm not sure... There's something weird going on with this baseball flashback earlier. I'm going to say that much. I feel like there's a point to it, but a part of me feels like it's not real. Given that, there's the contradiction between Hawks and Penguins as the team name, given that Tokyo, as far as I know, is not on the baseball team, either this is pre-high school, and that's why they're Penguins, and why Tokyo was on the baseball team and still didn't know Shiozaki, or it's just... Or that flashback isn't real. I don't know. Anyway, we see Shiozaki puts his hat back on and roars, and I guess Simon calls, "Stop right there!" Oh no, it's Ely, who is still ready to fight. You still planning on making a ruckus? Dang it, my leg's all busted up. Shiozaki! And it looks like, when she says her leg's all busted up, it looks like it's made of smoke, actually. But she stares down Shiozaki. I hate fellas who create a hassle for others. And she lets out some smoke. And liars. And vending machine filters. That's a really minor crime, Ely. Which fits some of the things I've noted about Ely before. But we see she's letting out her smoke, and it's sort of surrounding Shiozaki. And she jumps up and flies to the center. Does doing that stuff actually make you happy in the end? And she comes in for the attack. If you really want to rumble, then I'll join ya. And she jumps down and kind of grabs Shiozaki by the neck and pulls on it. Shiozaki strains against her, and we just hear the word hot. I don't know what that's all about. But then we come back to Tokyo, and Momoma tells him, Kurohara, leave this to us. Take Ely and... Well, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to take Ely right now. Apparently that hot was only heard by Tokyo, and he notes that voice. And he turns to, and Momoma, God, I hate that name. Momoma looks at him kind of confused, and Tokyo asks, did you hear a voice? And she responds, a voice? No, I didn't hear anything. You didn't? I'm sorry, I'll go find Ely. And he runs. And he thinks, I'm sure I heard it. That was... Is it Shiozaki? Because Shiozaki is being faced with Ely's smoke. So he would be under some sort of heat. Maybe it's his consciousness peeking through his chaos form. I don't know. Anyway, that was Shiozaki's voice? Yeah. He said hot. And we cut to Simon, who's caught up with Shiozaki and Ely as she's kind of smoking him. And Simon looks, what does she think she's doing? Is she planning to incinerate herself along with him? So we see those... I'm trying to... The art's all kind of scratchy here, and I can't quite tell if Ely is doing all right. Because Simon seems to think that she's planning to burn herself alive, though I highly doubt that, given everything she's been saying this arc. Anyway, Simon goes on, reckless amateur. Now I can't get anywhere near them. And then I think that's Shiozaki's fist. And yeah, Shiozaki like slugs Ely off. She goes flying. And as she falls, Simon's kind of shocked. And Shiozaki grabs her and says, Ada. I feel like he's about to pitch her. That's my expectation. Yeah, he just throws her off. I'm not sure what that Ada was about. But Simon notes, imbecile. I could have told you that would happen. And as she falls, Tokio finally catches up and dives and grabs her, shocking Simon. Huh? Kurohara, you'll sink! Oh, thanks to the sinker powers. And Tokio notes that, right before he goes falling down, he still caught Ely. And they, dive into the ground. And they seem to be, it seems like there's a tree next to them where they've fallen. It looks like the tree has fallen with them. The tree is now like sideways. And Ely asks, that you, Tokio? And Tokio apologizes, sorry about that. And Ely looks at him, Tokio, at this rate, Shiozaki will be all on his own. I don't want him to stay like that. Okay. So I've been wondering all arc, because I noted a while ago the decision to pair learning about all the Choujin laws, pairing that knowledge with Shiozaki's whole character. If he has to kind of break the law for his survival and for his family's survival, he has to sort of be outside the law. And I've been expecting this arc to be a sort of condemnation of those rigid laws. I'm not trying to be condemnatory, if that's a word. Let me see if that's a word, actually. I'm not trying to be condemnatory of this arc if I'm wrong, right? But I have been looking at it through that lens, and specifically what it means now that Simon and Momoma are here. Are they going to have pity for Shiozaki? Are they going to have mercy on him? Or will they see him as a beast that needs to be put down? And there is that bit Simon said about we have to raise him or something. And I'm still not entirely sure what raising means. Especially now, it seems like in the aftermath of Simon's blade form that we saw real fast, he's been put back to normal. So maybe they are going to save him. I don't know. Again, we'll have to wait and see where all this is going. But anyway, I don't want him to say like that. And Tokio acknowledges her desire and agrees. Right. And we come back to Simon, who is staring down Shiozaki now. And he thinks, now that they're out of the picture, this will be easier. And he starts, I think, throwing blades over towards Simon, over towards Shiozaki. And Shiozaki, no, I think it's Shiozaki who's the one doing the actual action, who's just pitching things at Simon. Having amateurs around might distract me. And he dodges all of Shiozaki's projectiles. This will finish it. Pierce Viscera! And he summons his fucking swords again. Bet you can't regenerate anymore after that. Accept your fate. Which sounds very kind of damning. It sounds sort of, I'm gonna kill you. It's your fate to die. Is how I'm interpreting that line. Going back to my earlier point. And we see this crash. Simon lands. And we see his sword sort of sticking up out of the ground. This dust is starting to clear. And Simon is dripping sweat now. And notes, a direct hit from Pierce Viscera. Pretty sure he won't get back up now. Actually, you better stay down. He goes to approach where he thinks Shiozaki is. I've run out of resources. That was the limit of what I can do here with my swords. Unfortunately, this is one way Choujin end up. That seems to that line again gives a sense of permanence. That he doesn't think there's a way to save Shiozaki now. And admittedly, we don't know enough about Choujin to know if he's right. But he takes a step, and the ground cracks under his feet. Shiozaki is not down. He falls over. He's impacted by the sinker. What? The gravity wall. It reaches all the way over here? He's sticking it out. Damn it, I'm going to sink. What do I do? And he's starting to fall, and he looks around in, panic, I think. And he sees Tokio, Kurohara, the novice, is still just hanging around, but he sees an opportunity in that, telling Tokio to get Momoma. Hurry up! There'll be all kind of casualties if we let him get down the mountain into town. Before that happens, we need to take care of him. There we go. That's what I've been suspecting he was getting at all this time. And Tokio's sort of confused. Take care of Shiozaki? That's right. He can't turn back anymore. A rampaging Choujin is like a beast. Our only choice is to deal with him right here. And Tokio sort of takes all that in. A beast. Deal with him? And he's thinking. Sinking. And we see all this time Shiozaki sort of pulling himself out of the swords. And we see his arms just there. I don't know what exactly is going on with them. Shiozaki. Wait, what is this? What's going on now? This seems like we're all of a sudden in a bit more of a mental plane. Not quite my closest reference, not physically, but more in terms of its story function, is like the field where Kaneki and Rize have their conversation at the end of season 1, right before white-haired Kaneki becomes a thing. That sort of mental plane is what I think they're at. It's much darker than Kaneki's was. We just see... Is that Shiozaki? I can't quite tell whose face that's supposed to be. It might be Shiozaki. Shiozaki! I'm sinking. And then, yeah, we see Tokio in what might be this kind of mental plane, or this part might be the real world. I don't know, because we see Tokio, and he sees what I think is Shiozaki, pushing away the swords as he sort of comes out of it. Shocking Tokio, huh? And we just see the growling of Shiozaki. Ugh. And he asks, can't we do something for him? Shocking Simon. I want to help him. I think we are still in the real world, actually. I think maybe this shot of Shiozaki is a bit more metaphorical, because I can't think of whose face that would be besides Shiozaki. But beyond that, we're in the real world. For some reason, the background is just all black now. I'm not quite sure why. Anyway, Simon is shocked that Tokio is just there. Kurohara, you little... Hey, what do you think you're... And he calls out again, hey, you fool, you'll sink. Keep away. And Tokio seems to be sort of tiptoeing closer to Shiozaki, maybe? I'll sink if I get close. Anything I throw will sink too. And, Simon is just repeatedly telling Tokio to get away. Go back, Kurohara! And Tokio sees this pipe. He picks it up. I'm up against a Koshinen pitcher. Oh, it's a baseball metaphor. We've gone full circle. He's swinging against... It's turning into a baseball game. Shiozaki's going to throw something and he has to hit it back. To be continued. That's where we leave off. Which I think might do a little bit of work to characterize that opening flashback that gave me a bit of questions. I think it is a middle school or elementary or little league baseball thing. And he's the kind of kid who was on the team, but he was never any good. They put him in the outfield, the bottom of the batting order. I'm talking about myself in elementary school now. But he wasn't any good at the game, is the point. And Shiozaki was an expert in the game. He was, this legendary high school pitcher before everything happened. And it sort of ups the stakes. If we know how bad he is at baseball, to turn this final battle into a baseball game. It also fits with the title of pinch hitter, as he's sort of stepping in the last second for Simon. Both as the person fighting Shiozaki and as literally a batter. So I feel the metaphor work that Isha is putting in there. But anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff here with this fight, with this sort of I don't know, I want to spend more time thinking about the thematic stuff. Because that's, like, the fight stuff is interesting enough. It's not, legendary or anything. It's, all the fight really is Ely trying to, like, smoke Shiozaki alive, and then the failed Pierce Viscera attack is really all we get for the fight this week. Or not this week, this period of time until the next chapter. The interesting thing is what we're doing with Shiozaki. Because Simon is of the opinion that Shiozaki must be put down. It's far too late. He's already dead, basically. But then there's that hot. And there's something going on with that. I think that must mean that Shiozaki is still in there somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it's sort of a going back to what Ozma said way back at the beginning. That the form a Choujin takes is indicative of how they view themselves. Shiozaki never left that Koshien game. Mentally. I think he's still in a certain way. He's still there. That's why his chaos form is literally a baseball monster. So maybe the way to save him is some kind of completion of his dream. Right? That's what this is. When he became a Choujin, he was mid-pitch. Right? So maybe that's how we save him, is by giving him the baseball game he's always wanted. I don't know. Maybe I'm onto something, maybe I'm not. We're still in that area where it's too close to, like, be confident as to how anything works. For Choujin, we're getting more ideas of how things work, but there's still a lot of questions just in the basic mechanics of this world, because we're like 13 chapters into this series. But anyway, my point before I got sidetracked by more baseball metaphors is that Shiozaki is alive in there. Simon has given up. Simon is more than willing to just kill him now. He's a monster. It's time to kill him. But he's definitely still in there. There's that hot that Tokio hears. And then he sees that vision of Shiozaki on page 20, I think. 22, my bad. And that's another one of those things that just feels really, really important. I'm not quite sure why he has this connection with Tokio. I'm not sure what the deal is there. It's kind of indicative almost of that thing Shiki did in Eden Zero at the end of Belial Gore, when his, like, gravity was so strong, he pulled in the memories of the other timeline. That's the instinct I get here, of, like, somehow Shiozaki's thoughts are, like, funneling into him. And I mean, Shiozaki does have something of a gravity aesthetic, or gravity, not quite gravity powers, but the sinker power is sort of tied to gravity. Simon calls it gravity wall. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things here. I imagine next week, our next chapter will be, if not the final chapter of Sinker, at least the climax of it. I imagine Shiozaki will either live or die next week, next chapter. I don't fucking know when it's coming out. I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff here, and I really, really want to see how this arc plays out so I know just what to think of it on the thematic level. Because there's a lot of possibly interesting things here, or I might be reading too deep into it, who's to say right now. But for now, I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and I can't wait to see how all of this plays out. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!